Today, let's look into the first 5 steps that you should take when purchasing a home. Now, these steps will be in order, and they're for your first time home buyers as well as your repeat buyers or those that just need a little bit of a refresher on how this process goes or a little bit more strategy to how you buy a home. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I am honest and I like to provide practical advice that's not generic or cookie cutter. I say the things that the others may be too afraid to say or just don't know. And I can take it there sometimes. So the steps I'll go over is first, decide on how you want to go about the process, either on your own or with an agent. And then 2, you want to have a clear understanding on your budget and your financing options. 3, you then get financially verified. So that looks like getting a pre-approval or getting proof of funds. And then 4, you'll go on your home search, the fun part. And then for this video, the last step will be make an offer. This video will be a high-level overview just to quickly give you a strategic approach to this process. As a licensed realtor in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, count 'em, I have worked with a number of families through this process. And as a home buyer myself, I've distilled this process in a way that is objective yet professional. Let's dig in. I believe that deciding on how you want to go through the process will give you that overarching guide and structure to how the other steps and the other parts of the process will line itself out. Now, this is my personal perspective. There's no hard truth or facts to how you should go about the process. It is something that is fluid. But in my opinion, by starting with having a guide or having that general idea of if you're going to go through it yourself or use an agent will help to, again, provide that structure with how the other steps will fall into place. Let's say you've been studying super hard. You've been YouTubing videos, you've done the Google searches and the chat GPTing of it all. You've read, you've listened to the podcast and feel really knowledgeable about the process. Excellent. I'm all about education and I love when people take the initiative to educate themselves on the process. But I oftentimes find that this is more of a supplement to what a human can provide versus replacing the human in itself. I can definitely understand should you choose to go the self route or doing the process on your own. Maybe it's budget issues or you don't have that trusted relationship with someone that really is on your side, or you have a family member or friend that's gone through the home buying process and they have offered to assist you in the process. There are reasons why one might choose that route, not knocking it. Just saying that on the other side, with having a professional on your side that's local and an expert to your market, it can't replace what that expertise brings. And it goes to say, you don't know what you don't know. So even with all the research in the world, there is a nuance to doing things in the real world that sometimes you just need an active, live human being to be there with you in the process. Look, every real estate transaction is different. Different home, different timeline, different market, different offer terms. Everything is unique. With that, all of this matters once the ball starts rolling. And if you choose to bring in professional help in the 9th hour, sometimes it can get things a little bit confusing. Also, think about it. What you're saving on the front end could impact you on the back end. Keep in mind that trust can be built before or during a process. And even before an agreement is signed, there's things that you can keep in mind about the relationship or the dynamic you have with an agent that can hint to you, are they trustworthy or are they not? For example, are they honest and upfront with the information they're providing you with all the research you've been doing? Are they communicative and responsive to you? Are they reliable? There's things in the meantime, even before an agreement is signed, that can hint to you whether you should put your trust in this professional. And worst case scenario, if you do go into your agreement and something goes awry with that relationship, most agreements have a termination clause where you can break free from that contract. It just needs to be discussed ahead of time. One bad relationship or something that goes awry with an agent doesn't mean all agents are bad. Every person is different. Every situation is different. Try not to let one sour situation taint your whole impression of a process. As a first-time home buyer, I will say I will not recommend going through the house buying process completely on your own. You want a professional involved. Friends and family members are cool, especially if they are professionals, then yes, go for it. As long as they're doing their job well. But as a first-time home buyer, there's so many unknowns and there's so many things to consider in the process that I just wouldn't recommend going about it completely on your own. Using an agent will allow you to start the conversation early. So one, you get a better idea of what the overall process, what it will look like. Two, they can help you navigate the budget aspect of it. So whether you want to go with the lender or use other means, they can help bring that into a more practical manner. Yes, you can go with defining your budget first, saving up before hiring an agent. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think an agent can also help to really guide that process along so you feel a little bit more certain about how you're going about it. In the next video, I'll go in more detail in how to best understand this process and choose a route that works best for your situation. Step 2 in this process would be understand your budget. Now, this is different than actually going forward and choosing a lane for your budget. You want to first get a good idea of not only how much do you qualify to spend on a home, but how much you actually want to spend for that home. There's one thing to know how much home you can afford, and it's another thing to say, how much can I comfortably put towards my home and still live a comparable life. Now, caveat, you might not live the same exact life that you lived in a rental versus a home. There may be a period of time, maybe a few months to a few years, not forever, but there may be a period of time that once you jump into that home, that you got to take a little chill pill on maybe certain luxuries that you've had in life. Outside of using a lender, there are some creative alternative ways to pay for a home. Some people leverage their 401k or retirement money. Some people leverage life insurance policies. With these two alternatives, bear in mind you want to make sure you're well aware of how to leverage these sources without having adverse tax penalties. You can also leverage investments. There are certain ways you can leverage your investments without actually selling them, just borrowing against them. And this includes stocks. There is also cash. There are down payment assistance programs, grant programs with the county and the state. I have a separate video that I go through these alternate means of getting finances that I'll link below. And last but not least, you can consider purchasing a home with others. So it could be friends, it could be family, just someone who is trusted and that you don't mind living with for the next 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 years. In the next video, I'll go into a little bit more detail in how to actually budget for a home, how to estimate down payment, and credit score, how that comes into play. So there are ways to purchase a home outside of using a lender, and you can use a lender, which majority of homeowners use. There are different types of lenders. You have your traditional banks, so Bank of America or Chase, US Bank, just the folks you usually bank with. Then you have loan officers, and these are the individuals that actually walk you through the loan process from start to finish. Loan officers can be inside the bank or outside of the bank. The loan officers outside of the bank usually work for a mortgage company. Then you also have mortgage brokers, and these are individuals that can shop around different lenders to find the best rate and terms for you. You have your credit union, so your Navy Fed, your Penn Fed, and you have your hard money or private lenders, which are more so for short-term loans or investments. A lender will let you know how much they are willing to give you to put towards a home. It doesn't mean that you actually have to spend that amount on a home. It just gives you the range that you can go through, but you still want to go through the process of understanding how much you are willing to put towards a home. And this is something that can be discussed with trusted family members or friends or a professional. Also, in the next video, I'll go through how to best select a lender for you. Next up is to get financially verified. So this means either getting a pre-approval or getting proof of funds. Proof of funds is the easier part. So if you're planning on using non-lending options to get the home, so that's either cash, gift from family or friends, your investment accounts, you want to just have a statement that shows that you got the money. On the other side, you can get a pre-approval from a lender. Now, there's a difference between a pre-approval and a pre-qualification. A pre-qualification basically says how much you may be able to get for a loan. A pre-approval says that you have been verified and checked, and this lender is saying they are willing to give you this amount for this home. So pre-approval is a little bit more analytical. They will go through your credit. They will go through your employment history. They will check your debt. They will go through your bank statements and your W-2s. That's to get that verification to say, hey, we are comfortable with lending you this amount for a home. Now, a lot of agents, or if you're going on your own and you're getting ready to put an offer in a home, they're more so looking for a pre-approval versus a pre-qualification. They want more of that certainty that, yes, you can get the amount to cover the purchase of this home. So now on to the fun part, the home shopping or home search. So when you are finally at the home search part, this is when you get to decide on your criteria. What are you willing to live with and what are you willing to live without? Now, some people take the criteria and make it a dream wish list, which I love, but we also need to live in reality. I love that as well. And in reality, you might not get every single thing that you're looking for in a home that's within your budget or within the location that you're looking for. What's most important is to prioritize. Prioritize the top few things that you absolutely can't live without. For example, having 2 bedrooms versus 3 bedrooms. If you know you got a growing family or your family is big as it is and you need a guest room, having a certain amount of bedrooms is something that you may not be able to compromise on. So you want to refine your bedrooms that you're looking for, your bathrooms, parking, the location, the type of home. So if you're looking for a single family home versus a townhome versus a condo or and condos come in different forms. They can be townhouse style condos, or you can have an apartment style condo, and you have to consider those fees and HOA and a lot of other things. In another video, I also talked through the differences between the types of homes if you're curious. When it comes to your criteria, you can of course use public searches in order to search and browse for the homes that ideally fit what you're looking for. So that's always available to you, and they can send automatic updates. And to view the home, you can either attend open houses or tap on the listing agent in order to schedule a private showing. On the other side, when you use an agent by your side, you're able to see the homes at your demand. Technically, yes, you got to schedule it with the agent, but it's more flexibility of seeing the home of when you need to see it, as well as going to the open houses with the agent. And an agent can send you exclusive homes. So these are homes that are not listed publicly, but are private, maybe within the brokerage or through other sites and means. Also, with using an agent for your home search, they can better tailor your search specific to what you're looking for. Having an agent can not only help best customize your search, they can also help you to fill in the gaps. As I mentioned before, you don't know what you don't know. And having someone who's just along the process with you can help you, guide you every step of the way. And the last step for this video is make an offer. So you've done the searching, you've done the driving, you've done the viewing, you've done the imagining of where your home will be, and you find the one. You finally found the one. But you got to put in the offer. And this process, as simple as it sounds, is not always so simple when you go through it practically. It involves putting in a written contract. So with this, if you're going about the process on your own, at this point, I would absolutely recommend having either a lawyer or a real estate professional to help to make sure that the contract terms are sound, that they're legal, and how the forms are being filled out are being filled out properly. On the other side, when you do have an agent on your agent is able to put in this offer for you. And the offer involves a number of terms like the price you're offering, how quickly you can close on the deal, any negotiation tactics. So any contingencies, like if you have a home inspection or a financing contingency. The offer also includes any disclosures about the home, any conditional terms that you should know about purchasing this home in this area in particular. So there can be a lot of nuance and details that go into an offer. Sometimes they can be very straightforward. Sometimes they can be a lot of paperwork. And the most exciting but nerve-wracking part about the offer is the negotiations. And yes, you can leverage technology, AI to help with this to an extent. However, nothing can replace having a real life agent that has strategies and advice that can be applicable to your market in that point in time. There's a lot of ways to go about and think about how to best get an offer not only in the door but accepted, that it's hard to dictate this to technology. So at this point, you would want to tap into a professional, not only for how they can help you through the process, but also for the relationships they have built. There are relationships involved in every aspect of this, from the listing agent to the title people or the attorneys, if there's any attorneys involved, to the contractors, should you have any contingencies that help to either make it a very rocky process or a very smooth process. So there's a lot of considerations when it comes to making an offer. So overall, from start to finish, from understanding what direction you want to go in, either doing this on your own or using an agent, to making an offer, and even beyond that, getting the offer accepted and moving into the home and finally closing on the home, that can take anywhere from a few months to a few years. It really depends on how particular you are with your home criteria, either your location, the type of home, what you're looking for in the home, your budgeting, how much money you have accessible, if your financing situation changes, getting approval for that loan. Usually approvals can be quick, but it also is very dependent on how you move along in that process. I've seen people close in a home from start to finish within a month. And as I mentioned, it could take a few years. Now, there's no perfect way to go about this process. However, there is strategic and wise ways to position yourself to win. We out here trying to win. Nobody trying to lose out here, you know? So I would definitely recommend taking the wisdom, the wise, strategic way. And as I mentioned throughout the video, I'll do a part 2 to this where I'll break down each of these 5 steps in a little bit more detail. And I'll do y'all a favor and I'll complete the process so you'll have a full A to Z how to buy a home and really have a guide for you to leverage. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you find this video useful, please share it, spread it far and wide. We don't want to be stingy. We want to be generous. So be generous with the resources that you found helpful, and I will catch you guys next time.